Good morning, good morning, good morning, and welcome to another edition here of Techniche live on a Saturday. I am so excited to be back here, family. I am so excited to be back here. And just so you know, I was away for a weekend or two, but really last weekend I was away because I was actually out on location in Miami. And I was actually learning a little bit more, getting more skills on how to do this thing called Techniche Tips, these interviews, these conversations that we have, and other aspects of learning the business when it comes to creating a better show. And so I'm excited that I took that time away, but I'm more excited to be back with you. And this is great. And in fact, I'm going to go straight to the comment section. Like last time or any time that we do this, I want to know where you're from. Where are you tuning in from? Is it international? Is it national? I want to know. So I'm going to go to the comment section right now. Oh, there you go, brother. Peace and blessings as well to you, brother Scott, tuning in from Louisiana, Louisville, Kentucky. I know I said Louisiana because that's where our guest is from. But Louisville, Kentucky, a.k.a. Derby City. Appreciate that. Thank you so much. Oh, yeah, she says, I'm ready. And so am I. This is going to be exciting as well. Thank you for tuning in, Shayna. I appreciate that. Daniel, you know what it is, brother. I can't put on a UK accent though, but you know what it is, brother. That's right. Hello, Alexis. Yep. Hello there. Hello. Good to see you. Darren, good to see you from Georgia. I would say Georgia. That's right. And then we have also Celeste here in Oakland. I'm assuming that's Oakland, California. Another Georgia person, right, coming through. Awesome. Thank you so much, Tanisha, for stopping by. I have Salisbury, North Carolina in the house. We have DC as well with Antoinette. And this is Assalamu alaikum, brother. Blessings to you, brother. Awesome. Houston, Texas. We have there as well. Fantastic. Thank you all for tuning in. This is going to be very exciting. I just want you to know, if you do not know, that these conversations are going to be transmitted, eventually put on to audio versions on podcasts. So if you listen to podcasts right now, if you got a chance, just write down Techniche Tips. That's Techniche, right? Tech, and then Niche, Techniche Tips. Go look it up on your favorite podcast, whether it's Apple, Spotify, Google, or more. We are in there like swimwear, and I want you to definitely take advantage of that. But I'm not gonna delay it. Thank you so much for everybody. I got Philly in the house with Tiffany. I got well, that used to be something that's my past life. Actually, I still sing and still sing and play in church. But yeah, yes, I did go to that event, the podcast summit, Scott. It was amazing, and I really did enjoy it. In fact, I'm looking to go back whenever the next one should be, which is in 7 to 8 months. So if you are interested in doing a podcast, interested in creating a show, I would recommend it highly. And they're probably gonna do one in the next 7 to 8 months. So tune in with Social Proof and David Shands to be able to find out when that will be. Good morning, people. Good morning. All right. Yes, Brunswick, Georgia. Fantastic. So I'm not going to delay this. I'm going to bring on our guest today because I know a lot of people are trying to find their way through the job market. And the reason why I think it's so good to have these conversations is because we hear the stories of others and we can learn what to do to help navigate that space. So without further ado, I'm going to bring on Miss Kennedy Nicholson. How are you doing, sis? Is everything well?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm energetic. I'm ready to go. I'm happy. And I believe our audience is. I mean, they came through strong today. They're coming through strong. So that's fantastic to see it as well. Before we get started, I want to just acknowledge a couple more people. We got Minneapolis, Minnesota. We have San Juan, Texas. What up, Raul? Good to see you, my friend. And then we have also Los Angeles here. So the Zoo and Shayna, that's fantastic. And so with that being said, Kenny, I want to just start where you are right now. You are currently an SDR, and
hmm
can you talk about how long it took you to break into that field?
Um, so technically, long term, it took me about technically 2 years simply because I was still in school. But like after I got my degree, it only took me maybe about 2 months.
Mm.
Because I didn't know anything about tech sales until after I already got my degree. Which I mean, it's good I have my degree. It's good to have it, but it just took 2 months of like doing the course and then figuring out what works best for me and what doesn't, and figuring out my own particular strategy on how I can apply for these jobs without having to feel burnt out from applying to all the jobs, and preparing myself for interviews because it's like you have to be able to research all the time when it comes to these companies because they want to be able to see like what do you know, and you have to be able to showcase that. So yeah, it took about 2 months, almost three. It could have probably taken less, but I'm appreciative of the opportunity I got because I'm at my top company and everything. So yeah.
Listen, y'all. She said it took 2 years. I said, wait, hold on 1 second. I was thinking like 2 years. And then she said it took 2 months. And I'm like, oh, okay. All right. We got to break that all down. So we're going to break that
Yeah.
down. But let's go back a little bit. Let people know where you're from, a little bit of your story. And then we're going to dive in deeper into regarding that 2 month/2 year gap.
Yes. So I am from Shreveport, Louisiana. There's not it's known, but it's not like too known. Good food out here though, I will say that.
Fantastic food.
So I actually went to two colleges. I went to Louisiana Tech first, and then I went to a school called Wiley like in Texas, to do my last year online because Louisiana Tech didn't offer online school yet. After I left, they did. But so I was also able to secure an internship with this woman that I was like really really inspired by. And I was able to like secure that internship. I got chosen out of like 500 people. She's a millionaire. She's based in Georgia.
Hold on,
And
wait,
some
wait, wait. Wait that down. She's a millionaire. Come on,
she
let's wind
is so
rewind that.
Ruby. So she goes by Lavish Ruby on social platforms, and she's actually back on YouTube now. So she took like a small break. So yeah, she has like a G wagon. She just bought like a $1 million home that you can see like on YouTube and everything. It's beautiful, and she
Wow.
was like one of the sweetest people I've ever met in my life, and she really really inspired me because I was an operations intern for her, so
Mm-hmm.
we got to like help with the brand, figure out how it can run better, things of that nature. And without that, I probably wouldn't have had the confidence to continue to apply for things that I felt like I might not have gotten. Because I promise you, I thought I probably wasn't gonna get that. I was like, oh my god, like I'm
Mentorship.
do I know, right? Like I just was so scared. I
Ooh,
was like, "Oh, I hope I get it." And I ended up getting it, and I cried because I was like, "Wow, that's like the first time I've really just been like, you know what? I'm gonna get this."
yeah.
And I got it. Um, so the reason why that's so important is because she has a friend. I don't know if you've heard of her. Her name is Kayla Burke.
Yeah, 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 yeah.
Yeah, they're friends.
Big boss, big boss right there.
Big Boss Energy podcast. Yes, I definitely tune in for every episode. So I was intrigued because I saw that she was a black woman in sales. I had
Yeah.
never really seen that. I typically see men in sales. It's just
Mm-hmm.
like a male dominated area. And so when I saw her page, I just was like, oh, she's living it up. She's doing the thing. She's a woman in sales. Come on,
Yeah.
somebody. I was like, yes. And I just was so inspired by that because I was like, I have experience as a leasing agent. I don't have exactly like legit sales experience, but I'm really good with people. So I just feel like sales might be my best bet, and that's when course careers came up. So
Oh, let me pause you right there because you said something that was very important. Like, I think real estate is definitely sales. I mean, to me, honestly, sales is life. That should be a T-shirt. Sales is life.
yeah,
I'll give that to free to whoever wants to make a T-shirt out of that because in every aspect, we gotta sell something. And when it comes to our kids, we gotta sell them the idea of eating vegetables, right? When it comes
right.
to like this person buying a house, you kind of have to sell the dream of, can you see yourself living here? So
Mm,
absolutely, you were working. So a reason why I want to pause there because a lot of people kind of downplay. I'm not saying you did this, but a lot of people downplay their experiences and say, I can't do it, when actually it's very much transferable skills. And so
mm-hmm.
keep going. I just want people to see themselves in
Yeah,
your story.
And actually, I was actually in the process of trying to get my Louisiana real estate license, but then I realized it's like I cannot flourish in my home state, and definitely can't
Mm.
flourish. You can't flourish in Shreveport, like talking about. You can't do that. Like it's
Uh-oh.
just there's not a lot of opportunities here. It's just
Yeah.
it's not where I can see myself having a family, getting married, things that I really want to do, things that I just really am. Because I'm 25 now. It's getting to that point where I'm like, it's looking like I need to settle down a little bit. And so I was just like, well, I'm gonna do what it takes for me to move to my dream city.
Mm.
And I was able to accomplish that in a shorter amount of time than what I thought I would. I thought it was gonna take me maybe another year and a half, 2 years, but it took me like a few months, like maybe 4 months, to just put everything in place after I got like my offer letter and things like that.
Let me ask you something right now because you made my mind just think. You said
Hmm.
that you were able to accomplish this. Let me. This is random. Did you write down what it is that you wanted to accomplish? Because it sounds like you have either a list, whether it's mental or someplace where you kind of like have been documenting your journey. Let me ask you that real quick.
So it actually started off with a vision board that I made with my best friend
Mm.
at the beginning of I think 21, I want to say, or 22. But I wrote it down one time. I was like, I'm getting out of my mom's house. I love my mom, but it's like she can't support me for the rest of my life. And I know I'm only here
Yeah.
because like COVID issues, and I just, rent was just not. I was still in school. Like I only was making $500 every 2 weeks. Like I just need to stay with my mom, but to make her proud, I just was like, I'm gonna do exactly what I said I've been trying to do since I was a little kid. I want to move back to Texas. I was actually born in
Wow.
Texas. I was born in Killeen, Texas, but it's just whenever I go to like Dallas and places like that, I'm like, I can really see myself here. Like
Yeah.
this is where I want to start my career, build my brand, start a family, all of these things. And I did that as it was just very coincidental because the headquarters, like not the headquarters, but one of the offices of the company that I work at is in the exact area that I wanted to move to.
Yeah.
I didn't know either, and I was like, oh, okay, this is clearly God's plan. Without God, I would not be here. I will say
Uh-huh.
that because I have cried and just almost given up on I don't know how many occasions because I was just like, I just don't know, man.
Yeah.
I don't know what I'm gonna do. But just seeing, Kayla, and then seeing Ruby like do these things, like be these women that I really want to become in the future, I just was like, yeah, I really want
Yeah.
that for myself. I need that for myself. So now
Yeah.
I'm just getting started in my journey. But I found that I was able to just help like friends, and then
Yeah.
I just wanted to branch off into other things to see how I can help other people.
Yeah, let me pause right there for a second because I don't know if people caught that. Like you were able to write down what you wanted to do, that what the things that you envisioned for yourself. You were able to put that down, whether it was a vision board or whatever. And I think that that is a powerful thing because this past week, and I'm going to refer to that a couple of times. David brought everybody together. He started playing some music in the background, um, and what happened was he was like, "Listen, write down what you want to get out of this conference."
Hmm.
Because if you don't, you're going to miss it. And I think a
Right.
lot of times in life, that's the same thing too. Write down what you want to get out of life, where you want to go, the things that you are envisioning, because then you set yourself on a trajectory to get there. But if you
Right.
do not, you're going to miss it. And so that's
Hmm.
why when you said that, I was like, light bulb, something clicked there because I feel like if you did not envision or if you did not pursue the vision that you were imagining, which is to move back to Texas and basically to level up, like somebody said in the comment. I'm going to point out Antoinette. She's like, "Yes, Kennedy, so proud of your level up,
Oh,
girl."
Antoinette, hey, I know her.
Yeah, so she's up there trying to support you. I just want to make sure you knew that.
Hey,
Yeah,
I
hey, girl.
didn't see her in there. Hey, girl, how
I
you
know, right?
doing?
For reals. But that's what I'm talking about. Like when you write that down, you actually can now see it, and then by you able to seeing it, you can pursue it in a different way versus just kind of like, let me just see what life happens to me. So go ahead. I wanted to make people
Oh
so people know
yes,
that.
you kind of just honestly, I'm not even gonna lie. You kind of have to be delusional about what you want,
Mm,
like,
talk
but
about it.
in a good way. Like, just be like, oh, I'm gonna get that. I can see myself there. The odds right now might not be in my favor. However, I'm gonna make them in my favor at the end of the day. And that's exactly what I did. I was like, you know what? Yeah, TikTok actually, believe it or not, I used to hate TikTok. I used to hate it so much. I would
You and
not
me
get
both.
on it. I used to hate it. Now I love it. Like it's different now. It's more educational for me than anything.
Yeah.
So you can also just really like build yourself up from like a majority of the information I got from if I even wanted to pursue a career in tech sales came from TikTok, but
Mm.
YouTube as well. And I had made a list. I even made a TikTok about this of the people that I watched to get more confident with my interview skills and be more comfortable in a sales role.
Yeah.
And a lot of people were like, "Thank you for this." I'm like, "These are the people I watched. Do not deviate from what I just said. If you find someone else, great, but this is what you need right here. This
Yeah.
is what you need right here." And it ended up working for other people. They're like, "I didn't even know about this page. I didn't know about this channel." I'm like, "Trust. I obsessed over getting a job in this field specifically
Yeah.
for that entire 2 months."
Mm.
And I was just so bent on getting to be at the company I'm at now that that interview process was long. It's like a month and a half.
Oh boy, and we can talk about
Oh
we
man.
can talk about tech interviews for sure, definitely. But I want to go back a little
Hmm.
bit because you were talking about basically how you envisioned going to Texas, and you got to Texas, and you were
Hmm.
inspired by Kayla, Big Boss Energy. Let's take it up from there. Continue with your story.
Oh man, like once it just like this was before she like the podcast is fairly new, so her podcast wasn't out then.
Yeah.
But I just was like to just look at like her Instagram and be like, wow, she's really doing it. Like she's really just out here. She's been doing it for some years now, and I'm like, oh, I'm just getting started. Like, I mean, is it too late? Like, I'm basically 25 already. Like, I could have been here if I would have known about this maybe like 3 years ago. But would I go back in time and not get my degree had I had known about this? I probably would not have gotten my degree, honestly.
Mm. Mm.
I'm gonna be I probably would not have.
Hmm.
Because I do the work and you really don't need a degree to do it,
Hmm.
in my opinion. Depending on the company, though, I will say that. But in
Yeah.
general, the skills in general, that's something you can learn on day to day just meeting somebody at a Kroger. Just like nice customer service skills, like being able to help someone solve a problem. All I do is try to help people solve problems. Even when I can't solve my own problems, I'm always helping other people solve problems. And
Yeah.
so what Kayla was able to solve for me was my problem with not being able to at one point think I could do that.
Mm.
But seeing her do that,
Mm.
I was like, "Oh, I absolutely can do that." Look, it's old to me. it's,
I try to post it up real quick because
it's old
everybody
to
here
me.
like might be in their 30s and 40s. Like, wait a second, hold on. What you trying to say about me?
No, but it's kind of weird though, because you see those videos of people that are like, "Yeah, I got my first apartment at 19, and I'm doing this at
Yeah,
19 and 20 and
yeah.
21," and
The
that's why I
anomalies.
felt like that. I'm just like, "Oh my gosh, that
You know
made me
what?
feel very old."
Let me say something that I think might I kind of disagree with you on a little bit on this when it comes to that. I think some of them are capping. I think some of them are telling the truth. Don't get me wrong.
Some of them are. No, you're right.
Some of them
You're
are, but
right.
some of them are capping. Some of them are like they're like, can I rent this space for a day? I just want to show off a little bit, and then they're going back to their mama's house in the basement. So
Ooh,
we could talk about that more though. But
tea.
but for real. I and Going back to what you were saying though, like you were inspired by Kayla Instagram, and then how did that? Did you start course careers already, or were you about to start course careers? Like what happened there?
I was about to.
Okay.
So like because like Ruby, she took her social media hiatus, and I found Kayla. When I was looking at her page, I was like, enterprise sales, what is that? And I kid you not, like after that, I started seeing course careers everywhere. I don't know how, but it got to a point where I was like, I'm not doing this course. Like it just was like,
Stop
I
following
don't want
me.
to do this. Like, no matter where I was, I could open YouTube, there's an ad. Like it just was everywhere in the Google search. I'm like, clearly this is a sign because I've never had something like this happen to me before. Like I would
Mm,
see an ad and it'd be gone. It was not gone. It was always there if because I was still
mm,
watching all those sales videos, so I that may have had something to do, but it was the only ad I would see. I wouldn't see anything else, and I'm just like, okay, let me check this out.
yeah.
14-day trial. Okay, I ended up liking it, so I stayed. And
Mm,
mind you,
yeah.
remember, I was making $500 every 2 weeks. Trust and believe I was getting that 150 out every 2 weeks.
Woo, child,
So if it was not
Lord.
for my mama letting me stay with her for free,
Mm, it would been rough.
it would have been rough. It would
Struggling,
have been rough. Oh
struggle
man. But
street. Oh,
also, I will say this: the job that I did have really did help me because I was working basically as like an assistant for like a recruiting company. So basically, I just helped them find contacts
look at that.
to reach out to, and I use Zoom info every day. So I'm essentially doing the
Mm.
same thing, just different, and it just worked out.
What? You using
Right.
Zoom info to find more for find talent for these recruiters? You could get an idea of what they're looking for because you have insider knowledge. They're telling you what their
Yeah.
ICP BP is.
Yeah. They wanted me to find points of contact. So like, who is like the, HR manager, who is the CIO. They wanted me to find specific people, and I made an Excel list of people every day
Mm,
for like a year until I was able to get in. Like, well, not even a year, maybe like 9 months I worked there.
wow,
Yeah. I
wow.
loved them though. They were great. I loved the little office. I loved sitting in my little cubicle, but I even told them like, y'all, I'm not gonna lie, I do not plan on being here for long. And they were like,
Mm.
we don't blame you. Leave.
Like, hey, we know this is.
Like it's like you have so much ambition, and we knew you weren't gonna be here for very long, because it's like we
Yeah.
only really just try to find people that are still in college or freshly out to try to like get their feet wet and then move
Mm.
on to like their next, role. And so here we are, you know.
Let me. I gotta pause again because
Keep
so
pausing. We can get
this right
into it.
here, people don't miss these gems, y'all. Don't miss these gems
Don't miss these
because
gems.
right here is you saying like, okay, you talked about customer service work, how that helped you to become who you are in sales. You talked about
Hmm.
real estate, how that helped you to become who you are in sales. You literally did a job that helped had you doing prospecting for them, having you doing research for them, and I assume outreach as well because you're reaching out to these uh the
I
recruiters are
didn't
reaching
have to
out,
do
right?
that.
Yeah.
They reached out, but I wasn't a recruiter, so I couldn't.
Uh-huh.
But I just made their job easier.
And that's a job you did like 2/3 of a job of an SDR. And then the real estate aspect of it, you have to do discovery. You have to figure out what are the pain points of your client, what areas they need, where they're looking to move to. So you literally did this entire sales cycle in an unconventional way. And I want people to see that in regards to your own life, you
Hmm.
actually may have been developing these skills over a period of time and did not even realize it. What
I
course
did not know.
me and you both.
Years,
Me and you both.
years.
Oh man. And so what course careers allows you to do is basically to take language and be able to now have language for the things that you've probably been doing for years and did not even know.
See, when I started Course Careers, that was when it was like no one was really like it wasn't as many people as it is now, and the website was being A/B tested. Like they were
Yeah.
trying to figure it. Like
Yeah.
I was there from the beginning, low key.
Yeah.
I should have gotten deeper into this in the beginning because I probably would have gained more knowledge and everything like that. I actually
Hmm.
have considered going through the course again just to refresh.
Yeah.
But now when I look at it, I'm like,
Fancy,
oh,
huh?
y'all are spoiled. Oh my God, we didn't have all this.
Yeah.
Like back in my day,
Hmm.
we didn't have all this. But
Yeah.
I still got my my job at my dream company either way. So no matter what it looked like,
Yeah.
it still happened. But it's just like, ooh, like everything looks so sleek, so good, so nice. I can see what Troy's
Yes.
vision was, because at first I just was like, I don't know what Troy's doing. I'm not even gonna lie. I was like, I don't know what he's doing, but whatever he's doing, I just know it's going to just be like, oh, Troy's gonna get his name out there. Trust. By any means necessary, one thing Troy gonna do is get his name out there and provide his value
Hmm.
propositions.
Hmm.
A1. Them
Hmm.
value props. Oh my God.
You preaching, Kennedy. You
Oh
preaching.
yeah. Oh yeah. Like it was just like, ooh, he's spitting. Like he hadn't
Yeah.
said not one wrong thing yet. Like
Hmm.
like oh, I want to do this. I'm willing to set aside a majority of my paycheck for this because I want to see if it works. One thing about me, I'm gonna see
Yeah.
if something works. I hate paying for stuff. Now,
Yeah.
did I get my real estate license? No,
Mm.
but tech sales allows me to have that entrepreneurial thing that I was looking for in real estate, but
Yeah.
with stability.
Yes. Hmm.
And that's why I'm gonna stick with that. Real estate. I'm not gonna give it up though. Am I probably gonna get my license? No,
Yeah.
but I know I want to invest and probably things of that nature.
Yeah.
Once I get a little bit more established, so real estate
Hmm.
will still be a part of my life. But I won't be going out because I was kind of like concerned about safety. Me being by myself and showing these
Yeah.
houses and things like that. But don't trust. I'm once I get my bread up a little bit more, I'm gonna be
Hmm.
investing.
Hey, I think that's the way to go. I know of a friend of mine, Antoine Way. Shout out to Black Heights. If you know Black
Oh,
Heights, you
Black
know
Hawk.
Black
Oh,
Heights.
he was on my list of people to watch that
Oh,
I posted
watch
up
him.
out on TikTok. He was. Oh yeah, watch him. He was. He was everywhere as well for me. Like just when
Yeah.
I saw Course Careers, I saw Black Kites, and he is
Yeah.
definitely on my TikTok. I made sure to shout him out and say like y'all watch him,
Yes.
y'all watch Antoine.
And here's the thing about Antoine, like as if you know his story, he's got the bag, right? He's doing really well in the space. But even him as an executive, he took course careers. And you gotta check that story. That interview's on my YouTube page, or you'll go ahead and check that out. Techniche
I've been meaning
tips.
to watch that one. I need to watch that
Oh
because I
yeah,
thought that was
watch it.
interesting that he did that like that.
Yeah, he did it because, like I said, sometimes we have the skills, but to have the language and the understanding.
Hmm.
He even to this day he said it was a great decision for him. And he has a degree in technology and management. He is like, and he was like course careers was really valuable. So if you are interested in course careers, y'all, I did not forget to do this. I put it in the description below. Basically, it's how I broke into tech. There's a link there plus $50 off. So if you have not joined the course, now is your opportunity. You may have been just like Kennedy, seeing commercials left and right, popping up on your phone, popping up on your computer,
Everywhere,
and
man. That was
and this was your, and now it's your sign. Be like, you know what? I'm not going to delay this. What does it cost me, right? And so go ahead, click the link below, sign up. Just keep listening though, because we got a lot more to share. But go ahead and click that link below if you are already an SDR looking to actually take and get skills to become an AE, or even looking to transition into cybersecurity. Go check out Level Clears as well. They have some great things there. You could go ahead and click the link below in order to become an AE or be a SOC or SOC analyst for a company, a cyber tech company. So let's keep it going because this conversation is good. We're going to talk about it. You're in course careers. How was the course for you?
oh man, it was just so extensive, right? And honestly, I'm gonna tell him there's a part. There is a part. I'm pretty sure I can say this. There is a part where you have to like the part where you have to read, right? The reading part.
The books?
Yeah,
Yeah.
I didn't read those. I did not read those.
Uh-oh.
Now, but wait, don't
Okay.
crucify me.
No,
Don't
I
crucify
won't.
me.
I won't. I
So
won't.
so like no, in high school, and I have sworn by this. My English teacher, Miss Osmond, I loved her so much, right?
Mm.
She told me one day, she was like, if you want a book and you just don't have the means to pay for it or whatever, just look up the book and then like full text, right? And I did
Mm.
that. So I didn't buy any of the books. I did not.
Ooh.
But definitely like outlines of the books came up with like the important parts
Yeah.
and then like the book itself. So I would trust I had like maybe one of the books, but for the other ones I found outlines for it because I just really wanted to be like, okay, do I necessarily have time to read all three of these books? No.
Mm.
How, so I'm one thing about me, I'm gonna work smarter and not harder. I'm gonna find a different route,
Come
and
on,
that's what I
sis.
did because it's like all I need to know is the main objective. I don't need to know like it's like the random parts of the book. It was like I'm sitting
Mm.
in this chair eating this banana. I don't care about that. I need the
Mm.
nitty gritty. I need like the
This is what you do. Boom, boom, boom.
I need that. That's how I operate. That's how I operate my day to day. I'm gonna try to find a way.
Uh-oh. Latricia job again. They
They do
also
have
have
them
them.
free on audio, but me
Yeah.
being me, I will deviate from audio. So
Mm.
I thought about audio.
Like
Not
your
even gonna lie.
mind
I
would
thought about
wander.
that.
Like if you listen to it, your mind would wander. You saying
It would
stuff like that?
wander.
Oh, okay,
Yeah, it
got
would
you.
wander. It would wander. So I needed something like in my face, just there, to just be like, yep, 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 and I got it. And I was like, oh, there's the answer. There we go. There's the answer right there. So it's like,
Mm.
do I think I'm gonna buy those books eventually? Yes, because I do kind of want to start like a collection of books in my
Yeah,
little bookshelf.
yeah,
But because I was on a time crunch. I was like, no. So
yeah.
that was the only part of it. But like everything else, it was just extensive. It was like this. We know what works. We know what doesn't. This might come up, and you might have an interview like this. But one thing I will say that whenever I like do like my coaching and everything, some
Yeah.
people don't know that some interviews are behavioral.
Mm. Mm-hmm.
Behavioral.
Mm-hmm.
Like
Let's
there's no like, hey, can you
dive
pitch to
deep.
me?
Go deep into that. Yeah, 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 yeah. Because I know
Yeah,
exactly what you're talking about. Yeah.
yeah. So it's like you sometimes in interviews because it's like they're gonna basically teach you the job, especially if
Yeah.
it's an entry level one. They're not gonna expect you to really necessarily depending on the company, maybe a startup, but they're not gonna be like, hey, so can you run me through like a whole sales cycle or things like that? No,
Yeah.
probably not. They're probably gonna be like, so can you tell me about a time where you had a difficult situation with a customer or a prospect and how you resolved that?
Mm-hmm.
Or how did you overcome a particular challenge in your life? It doesn't have to be job related.
Yeah.
a challenge in general. They want to know how you think, how you react, and how you solve at
Yeah.
the end of the day. That will make or break you. So if you're just kind of like, oh yeah, I just listened to the problem and I just was like, I gave them a solution. They want to know how you did that.
Yes.
You will stand
Yes.
out as a very strong candidate on top of doing your research on the company, each company that you apply for. If you can just let them know like you had a clear strategy on how you're going to do this and also the resolution and the outcome of that.
Mm-hmm.
Like the one that I gave had a very upset prospect or customer,
Yeah.
whatever you want to call her.
Yeah.
I addressed her concern, came up with some options to the point to where after I got done, this was when I was a leasing agent, I was giving her a tour because she just was concerned about, her son being off on his own for the first time. I gave her that tour, and she felt so much better that she gave me a hug after.
Wow.
Like
From
it's things just from that, just from she came in upset and she
mm-hmm.
left because I was like, my building's right here. He'll be right here next to me if he needs anything. Just things of that. She wanted to just feel okay. At the end of
Mm.
the day, they want to feel understood and just heard and like you actually care about what it is that they're coming in for because you don't know them, right?
Yeah.
But you have to know them in that moment.
Yeah.
And you may never see them again, but you still have to know them in that moment.
Yeah, and you know what's so powerful? What you're saying is that this is something that is preached again and again. I had Shanae, the recruiter cousin, I interviewed her. Great conversation, y'all. That's one of the older ones I had, so y'all need to go back in the archives for that one. She talked about the STAR method: situation, task, right? It's right there: situation, task, what action you took, and the result of that. So we basically need to have stories, and I'm talking to the audience here. We need to have stories when we're coming into these interviews because it is a conversation. We're going to talk about that because I know that's something that you preach because you are a course careers coach. So y'all, if you want a coach to
Yes.
reach out to, Kenny is here for you. You could go ahead and reach out to her, go to her LinkedIn, add her as a friend, send her a message, say like, "Yo, you're a course careers coach. I really want to make sure that I can get and land this job, but not only land the interview, but make it to where I land it completely. Like go through the interview process and make it unscathed, right?" So let's talk about that a little bit more. So you finished the course, you did it in about 2 months, you said, and then you were able to now in your interview processes decide, okay, how I want to do it. Did you mass apply or did you actually do it in a specific way? Because this is what people want to hear.
Ooh, it really breaks my heart if someone comes into one of my sessions and they're like, "Yeah, I applied to 50 jobs this week." I'm just like, "Good. Why did you do that?" But it's not their fault.
Mm,
They probably been told. I wouldn't necessarily say wrong.
mm-hmm.
I'm not saying don't keep track of the companies you apply for. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that at all, because please do that. But there is no reason why it's been a week and you have 50 applications out, and now you probably have like 10 interviews in a week.
Mm,
Maybe.
mm.
Reason why that is not good. One, like I said earlier, you have to research each company before your interview because they want to see if you actually know about the company, what
Yeah.
solution that they provide to people, what their value prop is, and show genuine interest in that company because they're going to be able to tell if you're applying just for a job.
Yeah.
You're gonna be out of there by like the first interview. And they're like, I don't know why I'm not getting response. It's because they could tell. It's
Mm-hmm.
because they could tell. So to limit that, I tell people do not apply to maybe more than like 5 companies at a time.
Mm.
That way you can just do like the deep research. But here's the problem. I also told people I guarantee from that list of 50, you're not gonna want to work at least maybe
25 of them.
40 of them, maybe 40.
Maybe 40.
And I tell people how you
Mm.
eliminate that is to get on Glassdoor for every single company
Yeah.
because that's where you get all the tea. You make an account, you'll see employee reviews, benefits, things of that nature, and also a company's LinkedIn presence matters a lot.
Yeah.
Like if it's kind of like dead, that's probably not a company you want to work for. But if you see the employees are like taking group
Ah.
pics together, things of that nature, those are things that I would look for.
Hold on, let me break that down again. You said, because I know the Glassdoor part, but you said check out a company's LinkedIn page and see if they're active, see if, what they're doing. Like break that down for people because they're like, wait a second, what do you mean?
Because it's like when you come, there are some LinkedIn pages where it's like it's a LinkedIn page for the sake of it being a LinkedIn page, right?
Mm-hmm.
But let's say you go to like a company, you go on Google, right? This is probably like a really broad one, but you everything you see about Google, 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 Google. You see employees, you see them taking
Mm.
pictures together, you see what they're doing in the community, you see like what outings they've went on. You see things of that nature because that is a key indicator that they do pour into their employees.
Mm.
Now, if you don't see that, I'm not saying it might not be there, but it's kind of a red flag to me because I'm like, you can't just care about a potential candidate's prospect without like a potential candidate's LinkedIn page without
Yeah.
caring about your own as a company. Because then
Mm.
I'm also like trying to see if we're gonna be a good fit, right? I want to see that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like
Yeah. Go ahead. I'm
it's
gonna come back
just
to that.
if I don't see that, I'm like, you're probably not what I want to do. And people also have to be able to figure out, are they willing to take the risk of working at a startup or do they want something with more stability? I
Okay.
didn't want to work at a startup. I picked a more well-established company over a startup
Mm.
just because I just was like, I'm not entirely sure about the company outlook. I
Okay.
don't know. And maybe when I become like an account executive, I might branch off into maybe a startup. But I love my company, so it's like I
Yeah.
don't really see myself leaving. But
Mm.
like,
Yeah.
nah.
Let's go back there for a second because some people preach, and I'm not. I kind of slightly disagree with you with this one only because some people preach like if you get into a good startup, you can grow with them. But you're saying, if you want security, because I know you talked about that being secure in a real estate was cool, but it wasn't as secure. All these other things, like you you're saying depending on what the priority of the person is what they may want to do because there's some people that go into a startup and let's say it's a company that's from international but they're starting here in the New York in the United States. They may start with that company and then like 6 months later they're promoted to this degree and they're promoted to this position or whatever the case may be and their growth is accelerated in the startup.
Right.
But you're saying like weigh the pros and the cons because if your goal is stability, startup might not be for you. That's what you're saying.
Um. Sort of, kind of, because it's. I know there's a way. So it's a. I forgot what it's called. I really forgot what it's called. But it's like when
Yeah.
they get like funded at a certain point. Those are the startups
Oh,
that I'm
Series
like
A,
I'm
B,
okay.
and yeah.
Yeah, yeah. But when they're like kind of just like those ones that are like, hey, we're a startup. We don't have that many employees. I'm like, ooh, nah, I don't know about that. But if I was maybe more established, cool. But once you start seeing them like, because there's a way to. Is it like TechCrunch? I think. Is it
Oh,
TechCrunch?
like
Is it where it's where no, it's Crunchbase.
okay, Crunchbase. Oh yeah.
Crunchbase. That's how you can be able to figure out like if that's probably a startup that you can probably work at.
Mhm.
I didn't want to personally take the risk at the time.
Yeah.
I prop I just I don't know what it was, but it's just because I don't know enough about tech that I just did not want to. But
Yeah.
yeah, the only thing was I did want to be able to promote quickly, but at the same time I was like, this is this would be a jog for me. You know, like I
Yeah.
need something that would allow me to jog and
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
feel, like it's like okay, but some startups work for certain types of people.
Yeah.
It
Hmm.
just wouldn't have worked for me starting out trying to move and everything like that. I wanted to be able
Yeah.
to physically go into an office.
Yeah.
Like, and we were only going to go in one day a week. Now it's four. But
Yeah.
like that was the thing about the startup for me is that they were completely remote. I'm like, I kind of want to go into an office. I want that office vibe. So I'm like, people
Mm.
that can that people that I tell people that want to be like prioritize remote, try maybe a startup. But if you really don't want to prioritize remote and you want that corporate setting, by all means do that.
Yeah.
Because that's what I wanted. I wanted to be able to be like, oh, I'm in the office today. I'm sitting at my desk and
Take it.
see my
Something.
coworkers. Yeah, something like that. That's what I wanted. So it just depends on what that person wants, on if
Hmm.
they should work at a startup or if they shouldn't.
Yeah, there's definitely pros and cons to it. I know I
Yeah.
used to be in a startup years ago without actually really kind of understanding the position I was in. But being in that startup, we literally in the same room as the CEO. There's a group of us, but it was in an office and it was legit. It was legit. It was nothing sketchy about it at all. But the one thing I did notice is that you're literally the CEO could see how you're performing, and he could be like, "Listen, I like this person. I want them to do X, Y, and Z." And I saw people get promoted pretty quickly and I was like, oh, this is dope. And so it really is that pro and con. Like you got to outweigh like literally what it is that you're stepping into and what it is that your life circumstances dictate that you do because you want to be in a place to succeed. And so and there's some good stuff in here. I want to point this out. This is going back to what you're talking about with strategy. And Darren says you have to have a specific strategy when it comes to applying for jobs Make sure your previous or current roles and experience align with the role you're applying to. Also, make sure your salary expectations are reasonable. And keywords are important. A lot of y'all are getting not making it through because the computer system itself is shutting you down before you even get to a human being looking at your resume. That's a conversation
That's so
altogether.
real.
That's another
That
guy
is so real.
altogether. You put in the same resume out, no, not same. The keywords aren't there, and the computer's like, listen, I ain't gonna waste their time. You're gone. So that's why what you're saying is so important. So let's dive into back into what you're talking about with the strategy that you have. I think people need to hear it.
So, as far as like interviewing or like just in general?
I would say as a part of your applying and then into your interview process. Yeah.
Okay. So, I would look on LinkedIn first and do like the filter of like entry level this area, and I would find, some I would look through each description to see like what their expectations are. And some of them were kind of like, that you have like 3 years of sales experience. I know personally that you don't like apply anyway. If they just like you as a candidate, they'll just forget that part. But I would look at the description, see if it's a description that I felt like I matched with the most, and I would write them down as a potential company of interest. So I would start off with my list of like 10. Then I would get on Glassdoor, look up each company, and then I dropped it down by like 5. I was like, okay, I don't want to
Mm.
work here. I don't want to work here. I don't want to work here. Apply. First of all, I want to tell y'all, do not use that easy apply button. It is a trap.
It's a trap.
It's a trap.
I agree with you there. I agree with you there.
It is a trap. That is actually a key indicator that you will not get that job. Because I had to, like, I never used it, but just something about it, I just was like, just how I was
It's
doing
too
my strategy,
easy.
I was like, like, nah. Like, this is a trap. They have this here to bait you in.
Mm.
No, you need to reach out personally to the hiring manager for each job. Like, hey, my name is so and so. And then just, basically do like an introduction with like a little signature at the bottom. That way they can see that you really want to work there.
Ooh,
Easy
break.
apply, it's kind of like, I just want this job, right? But no, when you stand out, it's like, ooh, no, she wants this career, right? She
Ooh,
wants
say
to
that
do
again because
this.
I think I missed that. You said
Oh,
do
do you
with
think they missed
email
that?
signature. Yeah. I think the people in y'all in the back, y'all here. I think they need to
Can
hear
they
that
hear?
one more time. You did what? You sent an email out. Talk about that again.
I sent an email out to each, like when if the hiring manager was in LinkedIn description, I sent an email out with my signature at the bottom, like with my picture and everything like that, saying, "Hello, my name is so and so. I'm very interested in your company. I like the fact that y'all can do this, 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 and this. If you are, looking for a potential candidate, I feel like I would be your best fit because so and so and so and so. And then I would look forward to hearing from you. And then the best, comma, Kennedy at the bottom. And then you see my email signature with like my picture, smiling. That's professional looking. You're representing them.
Mm,
So if you can just stand out before you even get the interview, you're golden at that
absolutely
point.
golden.
Absolutely golden.
Living your life like it's
Like
golden.
it's golden. Yeah, I was gonna say that.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you just have to just make sure you're doing everything possible to stand out. And then let's say you
Yeah.
get your first round interview, follow up after that first round. Be like, thank
Mm-hmm.
you so much for your time. I appreciate you telling me so and so and so and so. And then also with like when you're getting interviewed, they like when you basically inquire about them. Why did you want to work here? And
Yes.
having not having questions at an interview is a red flag as a candidate. Like you have to be able to be like, even if you don't, just come up with a question. Be like, so why is this like this, or like why do y'all do this like this, or just
Mm.
like, oh, so I read about this. Can you give me more insight about that? Now sometimes they might
Yeah.
be like, I can't answer that, but I can get you in touch with someone that can.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I
Mhm.
I think that just to add to what you're saying, it should definitely be a conversation. Like right now, we're having a
Yes.
conversation. You should
Right.
definitely have a conversation with your the person that's recruiting you, the hiring manager, because listen, the reason they chose you for a reason. There was
Right.
something on your resume. There's something that you did in the process that attracted you to them, and they're like,
Mhm.
okay, they see value in you. So
Mhm.
if you come to the table like, look, I have value. I want to see what you're about as much as you want to see what I'm about. Let's talk
Right.
about it.
Let's
And
talk about it.
and of course, like you mentioned, smile, like show that energy, show that you have a passion for learning about what they do, of course. But then ask some questions about like, I mean, I want to say the specific ones, but You could ask them questions about the culture, find a unique way to say it because they kind of hear that question all the time. You could ask them questions about quota attainability, which I think is very huge. If you like, you want to
Mhm.
make sure that this company is a company that, on average, you people are hitting their quota.
Mhm.
So you want to ask them those questions, but you want to keep it conversational. Like I think you mentioned it earlier, you want to add some humor to it. If you can make them laugh, like that's a
Mhm.
great thing. If you can, like how's your day going? Well, the sun is out. I'm here. I'm excited. Like you want to be able to show them that this is a person they want to have on their team.
Yeah, don't bore them.
Please don't.
They have to go through so many candidates. So if you just can
Please.
like just brighten up their day somehow, please do that.
Yes.
Don't
Yes.
overdo it though, because they're gonna be like, oh. But just subtle here and now, like what we're doing right now. Just subtle little inserts in there somewhere, and they'll be like, I liked her. She made me laugh today.
Yeah.
No one else did that. I like
Mm.
this one. We're gonna put her in the good pile. As long as you just do things to get put in the good pile, you're gonna be all
Yeah.
right.
It's like Santa. I'm not on the naughty list, Lord. I'm not on the naughty list, Santa. I'm not
Not
on the
on the
naughty
naughty list.
list.
Not on the naughty list. I am definitely on that good list,
That's
and I
right.
intend to stay on that good list for as long as
Oh,
possible.
yeah. So basically all that you did got you that job pretty much. Now you're at that job. You're in the tech company, right?
Mhm.
What what were the things that surprised you in a positive way about being in tech, and what's something like, oh yeah, I didn't know that, and
Oh
you're
my
like,
god, everybody's so chill. Everybody is so chill. Like I thought it was gonna be like cutthroat, like you got to be on it. No, these are very down to earth, transparent. I'm like,
mm,
oh, this is a different type of work environment, and no one's micromanaging me. Hello, like
hello.
where is everyone? Everybody's at doing their own thing. Okay, that's all right. I'm all for that because I felt like I didn't have to you looking over my shoulder seeing what I'm doing. No, no.
Yeah.
They'll be able to tell through other means what you're doing. They don't have to be present for that. But everybody's just really conversational. They're just like they get like they just act like people. And there's
Mm.
like that like hanging out after work. That's fine too. You want to grab a drink or something? I was like, yeah. Where are we going? Like I had never felt that. Like it's
Yeah.
also like with tech, it's like you'll find that you're hanging out with your coworkers at work with like a company provided like event or something like that. And I'm
Mm-hmm.
just like, this is nice. There's not a pizza box in sight. Oh my god. This is
You
nice. You mean to tell me we have tacos? Okay.
change it up here. We're changing it up
We
over
have
here.
tacos
Oh man.
and we have good food. Charcuterie? Hell, I don't even like charcuterie, but it's just the fact that there was charcuterie.
The option was there,
The option was there. The
man.
option was there.
Yeah, just to let the guests know, y'all, we're gonna have a Q&A session right after this. So if you have questions, you can start prepping your questions even right now. I'm gonna go through the comment section on LinkedIn. If you're on Facebook, or even if you're on YouTube, I'm gonna go through the comment section and look up questions that we can answer. So just stay tuned. The conversation is good. So I almost forgot to say that, but I want to remind y'all this is a Q&A session as well. She is a course careers coach. So take advantage of this opportunity because today's price,
Yes.
yeah, yesterday's price is not today's price. Whatever he said. But like I want to kind of talk about that for a second because my company is fully remote and you work in your office. I could talk about what it is to work fully remote. For me, I personally like it because of my family dynamic and the things that I have going on in life. I love that ability to be like, okay, I'm gonna go, run an errand right now, bring home groceries, whatever the case may be, and or I'm gonna go to the gym or whatever, or work out, or go for a walk, whatever, and come back to work and have that flexibility. Can you talk about what it's like being in the office and really what that, like, you kind of touched on a little bit, but like what that culture is like?
Oh, I love being in the office because when they feed us like every single day, right? So it's like, so it's just nice being able to just walk in, grab a nice coffee. Everything's pretty much complimentary, and just be like, "Oh, I'm about to start my day." Saying, "Hey, how you doing? Come to my desk. We have standing desks. Everybody has a standing desk."
Nice.
That blew me away when I walked in, and I'm like, my first day, I'm like, "Is he skateboarding in my face?" He skateboarded in my face. He skateboarded right by me.
Good.
I just was like, "Okay,
I'm just going to
you
the
know."
bathroom.
That's literally what they do. That's literally what they do. They'll just skateboard to the bathroom, and it just was nice, just being able to like have casual conversation with everybody. We're doing our thing. There's also like those little walking treadmill things in there, and I was like a treadmill desk, so it's like I could work and walk on the treadmill, and I was like, oh my god, massage chairs. I was like, oh my god, what type of office is this? It's like they want you to feel comfortable and you have options, right? It's like I'll walk by someone's playing ping pong when they're taking a break, or
Mm,
they'll like, just go outside to work. Like it's just really nice. I enjoy working in the
mm,
office just because it's like I like seeing people, and then it's like I do have my days where I'm like, okay, I really need to double down on my work. I do not need to
yeah,
go into the office today because it's like I need to do some deep work. I it's like I just sacrificed that, right? I'm like
yeah.
meeting my numbers and just being able to just really focus is more so what I'm worried about, right? And but
Mm,
when I go in, it's like, hey, how's everyone doing? It's like how like we're gonna hit our quarter today. We're gonna get what we gotta do. We gotta do. We have things to do, and it's a very social environment. I will say that.
yeah, I gotta go ahead and answer that because it's very similar to what I experienced when I worked. I was actually temping for a tech company years ago, and this a similar thing happened. Like you go in there, there's food that's provided, there's a ping pong table, there's also like a blender. You can make your own smoothies with the fruits and vegetables side. Like it surprised you. Antoinette says, that's across the board in tech. When I landed my software engineering job, I was extremely shocked at how relaxed everything was. And she actually added it to that. She's like, wait a second, you said you put it on the company's tab. She's like, hey man, like this is a different world from where we come from, like the song says. And so this is something that I think once people get into it, especially working in an office environment, they really try to retain talent. So they do all these different things to order to relieve stress and retain talent, and they have like this
Hmm.
more relaxed environment. I love what you just said. I'm gonna just kind of steal that for a second, like, and I've seen that before too, where people can work wherever around the office. They could go to the lounge, they could work there, they could whatever the case may be, where they feel comfortable, they can do that. And so I think a lot of people definitely may be missing out on these opportunities. I just gotta give you a little prop because my brother Scott said it, bro. Kenny is murdering the show. She's dropping so much knowledge. Thank you for this, Joseph. I think this is my new favorite interview. And
Oh,
we
thanks. Oh my
yeah,
gosh.
and just to remind y'all, she's a coach, y'all. So if you want to hit her up one-on-one basis, she could definitely talk to you about some things. Now, not to turn to morbid or whatever the case may be, but we're gonna kind of get a little bit more on us, just kind of looking at a different angle. There are things to be mindful of in tech. Like, yes, they provide food, but you want to be mindful of how much you're eating. you know,
Yeah.
uh, yes, they provide opportunities to play ping pong, but you also want to be mindful of how much time you're spending in there. There's a mindfulness that you still need to have working in tech. Can you talk about what are the things that people may want to avoid, landmines, things of that nature, just to kind of avoid being again put on that naughty list, even if you got the job?
Yeah, so like I would avoid doing too many leisure things like that don't involve like if you're just not by your laptop at all, don't do that. Like it's really good. It's like just bring it with you wherever you are. That way if something comes through that just shows you're proactive, but it's like you're still kind of leisurely doing things, but it's also just the fact that it's like don't draw like any type of negative attention to yourself that would look as though you never do any work, right?
Mm,
Like don't do that. Cuz you don't know if you're being watched or not, and you don't know by whom.
that's true.
You do not know who is the internal company spy in that office. You do not know.
They exist. They
They
exist,
definitely
y'all.
exist. They don't like I. It's not something that they advertise, but they exist. So it's like
Yeah.
yes, sales can get pretty stressful sometimes, but
Hmm.
I have learned while being on the job, you make it more stressful by like deviating from your plan of the day. I live by my Google Calendar. I have learned that I am not
Mm,
a physical planner type of girl. I am definitely a Google Calendar girly because I like to be able to just pull it up on my phone and be like, what do I have to do today? Things of that
yeah.
nature. Um, be as organized as possible. Like so, once you like deviate from that, it's like it's so hard to catch up, and then you're unnecessarily more stressed. And people
Mm,
can tell that. They're like, oh my god, they're like he's trying to catch up, like you gotta come on now. And I have all Apple products right now because I
yeah.
like to have everything synced so I don't miss anything. Like I get a notification on my watch if notification comes through email from a prospect on my
Yeah.
phone, it's on there too. Where I'm doing this from my iPad. I invested in a cellular Apple
Yeah.
Watch and cellular iPad for this job
Mm.
because I just wanted to be able to feel like I could still go places. But then I'm like, oh, let me answer this email real quick. Let me do
Yeah.
this. Let me do that. It's like just making sure that you do a lot more efficient things to be able to be like, this makes my job a lot more easier. Now, does it make you kind of look like you might be doing too much? Maybe.
Maybe, but
But at the same time, you're also just considering like you don't want to miss anything. You don't want to miss an opportunity. So it's like
hmm
just don't do anything that could cause you to miss opportunities.
yeah, you're being proactive. You're being
Hmm.
proactive. Now, I gotta go to the comment section again real quickly. I do see here that the leisure things are for people who are really making and closing deals. I'm just not there yet.
That is so true.
That is very true.
That is a word.
Word of the day.
That is a word because I'll see people come in for 2 hours and they just leave
mm,
because it's like they don't they're
they're
done.
killing it.
Like it's like they killing it. Like duh. Like they
Yeah,
don't really have to do it. And the company knows that they're not gonna bother them. You'll be
yeah,
like, okay, I'm not there yet either. I'm gonna get there though. Trust
yeah.
and believe that. But
Yes.
but I'm just starting out. I just got here. But we will get there.
yeah. And then Antoinette actually came back. She said it takes a very responsible person, which is what you're talking about, to properly manage the work without taking advantage of the perks and independence.
Another word.
Another word. I'm gonna leave that up there a little bit longer so that people can take their sermon notes down. But yeah, like it's so true because you may think like you buddy with this person that's killing it. You're set. You guys are the one that's your ping pong buddy. You playing all the time. You're playing pools together. You might even play video
Hmm.
games. I had an interview with Dre the other day, and he's like, "Yeah, we have video games at our place, in our spot." He's like, "Oh, word?" They're like, "Yeah." And so you might kind of find yourself doing that, but then at the same time, they're killing it, and you're okay. And that puts you in the sight lines of the company snitch, and then you in trouble. So you definitely want to be able to do, no offense to company snitches out there. Just make sure that I
No,
just
I mean
make sure
that's that they're very important. Don't get
yeah,
me wrong. Like they need to be there. To be
yeah,
honest with you.
yeah.
But but there's hardly ever a thing where it's like they feel like they have to do that.
Mm, mm, mm. Oof. All right. So I have one more question, y'all, before Q&A, because I want to open up the lines for y'all to
Hmm.
have your questions. Since Kennedy is here, we're here in the building. We outside, right? As they say, she literally is outside. We outside.
Literally
So
in my car.
yeah,
This
AC
job
going.
helped me get this car. I was as soon as I got my offer letter,
Oh,
I got this car.
testify. No, no, stop. Let's stop right there. Testify. What? How did the company help you? So let's talk about that.
I got my offer letter. Let's see. I started course careers in June. Got my offer letter October after like a month and a half of applying. Like July. Okay, June. But I finished the course August.
Uh huh.
Got my offer letter October. My mom used to be a postal worker, so she has like a particular credit union. Went right to that credit union. I'm like, hey, I have my offer letter. What can I get? They wrote me a check. I went all the way to Longview, an
Yeah.
hour away from Shreveport. It'll get my car. I was like, I want this car. Left with my car that day. But I
Wow.
didn't start work until December.
Mm.
Yeah.
Mm. They just saw the offer letter, be like, okay, you're good.
They
Yeah.
let me start early actually.
Which
I
one
was
do you
supposed to
want? Show you the
like
lots.
I was like I'm about to go get my car and I've had my car since November. This is my baby right here. This is like
Yeah.
one of my biggest accomplishments besides my apartment, but like being able to live in my first apartment by myself because college you always have a roommate. It's just me and
Yeah.
my cat, which I'm pretty sure you saw in the other interview. He hit me twice. If y'all go to my other interview with Chris
Cats
Busson,
are
he hit me twice.
sometimes
He does not
disrespectful.
like he does not like when I ignore him on Zooms. But anyway, but yeah, so
Mm.
this is my accomplishment right here. This
Your
this
husband better be
is
prepared because she gonna
my
be fighting.
husband.
He
I
gonna
don't
be
even,
fighting with that cat.
honestly, he loves people. Don't get me wrong, but it's
Uh,
like that's my child right there. I ain't got a man yet,
yep.
but just know that the cat stays no
Of
matter what.
course.
The cat is not going nowhere. So when I get a man, it's like you signing up for my son. On top of that, and I need you to know that.
And he knows that too. I'm just saying
Uh
that
huh.
you know how children are when if there's somebody else that comes into the family, they're like, "Who are you?" I can see the cat being like, "Who are you?" And I know
I know
you.
he'll be like, "Who are you?" But then he'll go rub up on their leg. Like he's very friendly.
Okay,
He's
okay.
he's a very friendly. He's orange, big orange cat.
Oh,
He's
okay.
very friendly, but he just does
Yeah.
not like when I get on Zooms. Ignore him. He hates that. He cannot
Yeah.
stand that.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the good thing about it is that he knows the deal. He knows the deal.
He knows the
Uh,
real.
so I gotta go to this comic. I thought it was very funny. All offense to company stitches. So
Look, they serve their purpose. They
yeah,
serve their purpose.
yeah, for the betterment of the company, not us sometimes. But when it comes to, and the Darren says at my company, we are paired up with a business partner that works out well, especially when your business partner is a sales rep that's killing it. I think it's a great idea actually, to just pair up people. Normally, I just kind of go to my manager. My manager is great. Shout out to you, Caroline, if you're watching. But yeah, so I normally just do that to get like insight and things of that nature. So I want to be honest because I did see a comment earlier by somebody who was looking for work. We know that the market is a little bit challenging. What would you say to encourage somebody right now who is looking for a role to break into tech, whether it's in cybersecurity, SDR, whatever it may be? What would you say to encourage them to say like, "Hey, keep going right now. It's not over. You're just beginning." What would you say to them?
I would literally just say that, like, just keep going anyway, because it's like, if I would not have kept going anyway and I wanted to stop, I would still be living at my mom's house with nothing.
Mm,
But like, it's like you have to still look at the goal at the end of the day. Like, market or not, there are people still signing up to be real estate agents despite the housing market. There are people still putting themselves out there to try to get, because you never know what company is actually going to take a chance on you. So
yeah,
you'll feel better knowing that you took the chance, but you'll feel worse knowing that you did not.
yeah.
So it's like, just do it anyway. It's like, it's your story might take months, right? But it's like, it comes down to the people that are like, I just really want a job. I'm like, this is not the type of career field where this is just like, you just want a job. If
Hmm.
you just want a job, you can just go somewhere else and apply that you know you might get a job. But this is a career at the end of the day, and you can't rush the process of finding your career, because you'll be there to climb the company ladder, things of that nature. And it's just like, you just got to give it time. Like,
Mm,
you never know what company, startup, non-startup, probably something that you probably weren't even originally applying for. You don't know if you might not even need to be an SDR. You might get a job as an account executive. I say
yeah.
apply for like anything. At
Hmm.
that point, and just showcase your skills, do your research. Just honestly, I made sales my entire personality when I was when I was interviewing, just trying to feel myself into the role, right? And it ended up working out for me. So it's like, your ambition and your goals have to be bigger than, like, I get it. Like, mental health really does matter. You can get depressed during these times. I was definitely depressed during these times as well. But my depression just left once I realized, oh wait, I'm doing this.
Yeah.
I'm doing this. I would encourage you to just go for the more positive feelings. Know that there might be some rejection along the way, because even I got some rejections, right?
Yeah.
But I got an acceptance, once again, from my top company.
Mm,
That just proves
yeah.
that it's like, God is just like, this is not the company for you, but this is.
Hmm.
So just keep going anyway, y'all. Like, it
Yeah.
just really just, it'll make you feel more content at the end of the day, knowing like, this was hard. But looking back, it wasn't really necessarily that hard. I just had to
Hmm.
find the right fit for me. And I just, with all like layoffs are possible, things of that nature, like, really no one is safe anywhere.
Yeah.
But that's with any job too, though. Like, you
Hmm.
can just be let go for something that you never even did, something stupid, like if you would like work at Walmart and they think you did something and you didn't actually do it and they just fire you.
That's true.
Like, it can happen anywhere. So
Very true.
just be optimistic no matter what, is all I can say.
Yeah. Yeah. So y'all do not give up. I want to encourage y'all to go ahead and pursue whatever it is that you feel in your heart that you need to pursue right now for the betterment of yourself, for the betterment of your family, for like Kennedy said, she wrote down her goals, she wrote where she wanted to go, and by having that focus, it actually worked out. There's things that I wrote down, things that I said that I wanted to do that are starting to happen, and I'm like, wow. But it took sacrifice. It took Kennedy 2 years and 2 months, however you want to dice it up. But it took sacrifice. It took time. and that is extremely important. And so right now we are going to go into the Q&A section of this conversation. I want to just thank Kennedy again for being a part of this morning with us.
Of
It was
course.
splendid. Had a great conversation, and we're not done yet. We're going to do the Q&A portion of it. But I wanted just to make sure. Scott said she got Garfield as a
Everyone
cat.
says that. I was waiting on it. Yeah, I do. Everyone says that when they see him. I do have Garfield, yes.
Yeah, yeah. So this is something that we're gonna take some time to talk about really quickly. Just to remind everybody, if you are interested in course careers, the link is in the description below. If you are interested in level careers, the link is also below. But here's another one. The third one I want to talk about is called Learnful. Learnful is a platform where it's actually you're gonna have principal sales engineers and people that have been working in the field that are really killing the game right now, basically taking you on in a small, exclusive group where you're going to be able to talk and learn high level skills in regards to landing a job, whether it's in tech sales, but really pre sales. So that's anything from being an SDR, BDR, sales engineer, you name it. Whatever's in that sphere of being in pre sales, they're going to work with you and help you to get there. But here's the thing, only 120 people could qualify for this in a year. So it's extremely exclusive, and it's definitely the creme de la creme in regards to the people that are going to be. I could say the company, the ranges of different companies from HubSpot to other places that are top
HubSpot.
tier performers that will be working with you one on one. So if you want that level of one-on-one attention with people that will help you navigate this field, Learnful could be an option for you as well. The link is in the description below for all three of these boot camps. Again, Course Careers, Leveled, and Learnful. So take your pick. And I'll remind those that just joined, this is also going to be an audio form eventually. So go ahead and if you have not, follow on Apple Podcasts, on Google, on Spotify, and wherever else podcasts are sold. All right. So right now we're gonna go into the Q&A section, but before we do that, this is not really a question. Uh, yeah, Learnful is definitely really the one. I just look at this comment from Marcelino. Oh, this is the tech sales ninja, American Ninja Warrior, Marcelino. I had an interview with him. Good to see you, brother. So glad that you're here. I'm so glad that you're here. That's what I was gonna say, man. Great interview that we had. I want to I'm walking just because he's also a physical trainer. I've been walking, brother. I've been working out. So we're gonna keep it going. We're gonna keep it going. But let me go to this comment that was made by Antoinette. I thought it was very important to look at. It says I found it extremely difficult to make the transition to tech sales due to overqualification.
Ooh.
Overqualification. Because remember, she's a software engineer.
Yeah, I've definitely had, I had to tell someone on one of my coaching sessions, I think the issue is that you're overqualified because she was. Um, it
Mm,
was more so because she had like so many years of like, I want to say education experience.
yeah.
And I'm just like, that might be it because it's like, have you tried maybe other roles, like maybe like a manager or something? She's
Mm,
like, no. I'm like, try that. That might work because you're coming off a little overqualified.
mm.
But honestly, being overqualified coming from a software engineer part, that's the first I've heard that. That's insane to me. Like, why would you not want that? Like,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
that's
Especially
that.
for a
Like, I
sales
don't
engineer
know.
role, like I would say that's what I'm thinking of. Like, hey, sales engineer. Off the top of my head, I'm thinking you'd be great for a sales engineer position. You know, you could do both. You get quota. You also get there's quota, not quota necessarily, but you get commissions
Yeah,
as being a sales engineer. You Learnful might be the place for you, Antoinette. Learnful, the one I was talking about, because you could be talking to people that are either on the sales engineer side, tech sales side, and because of your background, they can help you navigate that. Nigel, he was a former direct. I think he was a former teacher for a course for a careerist. He's that's his tech boot camp. So definitely want to check that out. I think you should probably check that out. The link is in the description below for sure. Um, but yeah, I gotta go to Darren real quickly. Learning the sales language. B, know do the work. Never do. Okay, I'm trying to learn the sales language. Know the work. Do the work. Never give up. Ask for help and advice. And LinkedIn is a great place to start. Totally agree. Totally agree. Somebody was actually piggyback on on our comment here. She said, "I would go for an account executive or account manager role."
that's what I was gonna say. I think she would. be able to transfer much easier as an account executive, me
Hmm.
personally. But I mean, like the engineering part, she has that though, so that's kind of like why it's kind of like a because me, I was interested in being a sales engineer myself, but I have
Yeah.
literally no idea how to become one. So it's like
Yeah.
I have no idea. Now I see
Yeah.
Cyrus everywhere, but I'm just like, I do not have $4,000, Cyrus. I'm sorry.
Yeah, yeah, and
Damn it.
I know people that try to get as an NCR first, and then later transition to becoming an SC. You know, I would say nothing is impossible. You know, one thing about being a sales engineer, though, that I think it needs to be demystified, is that it's not really an entry level position, but at the same time, it's like it's like it's, how do you get there is pretty much networking, knowing the right people, and being able to show them that you have the intangible skills or the transferable skills to get to that position. It's really tricky. I ain't gonna lie to y'all. And then also tailor making your resume. That's true. That's true.
Oh
All
yeah,
right.
that is very true.
All right. Yeah. Now, you guys are having great comments. Let's get some questions in here while Kennedy is here. Let's get some questions, y'all. If you guys have any questions, it could be about the finals, the finals for course careers. It could be about anything else. If you have any questions, now is the time while Kennedy is here. The poor lady has been burning her gas just to kind of talk with
Oh,
us.
I am okay
Yeah.
because that Starbucks was a little too loud for my liking. I didn't like it.
Yeah, yeah. They were not having Saturday morning conversations. They were having like Friday night conversations.
It's
They
mostly
were like,
quiet in there, but there's like the most employees they've had in there since I've been coming over here.
that's funny.
I'm like,
That
what's
is
going on?
funny.
I
Well,
know.
well, what I'm going to throw in there, Kennedy, is in regards to yourself. Where do you see yourself going within this tech sales arena?
Ooh, so it's like on top of that, I do like the content creation. I'm just starting off with that, so it's like
Nice.
I see myself hopefully making over 500,000 within like the
Hmm.
next maybe like 5 years, maybe less,
All
including
right.
like the content and everything like that. But also just being able to become like a keynote speaker. I've thought about, doing my own podcast. I've started a blog that I haven't really published yet. Like, I just
Nice.
really want to become that person that's like, okay, she really knows what she's talking about. Just that person of influence necessarily, but more so like an educator type thing. Like,
Mm,
my whole thing is I don't really necessarily want to be an influencer. I want to be an educator.
mm,
Like, I don't want to be a guru. I hate that word.
yeah.
I want to be an educator. I want to be able to go to conferences and be able to speak. I want to be able to be on panels. I want to be able to do things like that
Yeah.
and just keep doing that. But I'm learning as I go on top of that. So I'm going to just use what I learn in this journey and then just be able to just continue to add on top of that as I go. Now, I am the co host of the podcast with one of my friends, but it's just hard because I'm all the way out in Texas now and he's in Shreveport still.
Oh yeah.
I actually have to visit him after this, but it's just like at the same time, I do kind of want to be able to have like my own audio podcast, like on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, just talking about tech sales, being a woman in sales, being a woman in tech in general, and then
Yeah.
maybe having people come on and talk as well, kind of like what we're doing,
Yeah.
because my main focus is helping people transition. That is what I
Mm-hmm.
wanted to focus on because it's like I didn't
Me
have
too.
help. I did not have help. I figured everything out on my own, and I
Yeah.
just want to be able to be like what Kayla's like once again what Kayla's doing is just so inspiring. Like
Yeah.
I just really want to be able to just embody what she embodies traveling. It's more than just having nice things. It's just her presence in general just exudes a
Mm-hmm.
level of I am that girl and I am that boss woman at the same time.
Unapologetically saying that. Yep.
Come on, somebody,
I
because
said,
I'm just like
yeah.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
Mhm.
Sorry, let me cut you off. Go
Mhm.
ahead. I'm just
Oh.
like mm-hmm in the background
Mhm.
right here.
Oh yeah, no, 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 because I took that as an ad lib. Because you just
Yeah.
really just you what you because I that's what I really want to be. I just really want to be able to just be like, hey, so Kennedy is coming to speak today. Just beyond the podcast, types of things. Because
Yeah.
being a keynote speaker was just something like I just really, really, really wanted to do,
Oh.
and I'm hoping I get to. I want to be able to like show up at like conferences like Afrotech and like Like the baddies
Yeah.
in Tech One. I want to be able to show up to those and just be like, "Hey, I'm here. Nice to meet you guys," and
Yeah.
just be more involved in the community on top of that, and get more involved into volunteer work as well,
Yeah. No, I
whilst making like that big girl salary.
yeah, yeah,
Big
yeah.
girl salary.
Because it adds to your credibility when you could say
Mhm.
like, "Yeah, I'm doing good." It
Mhm.
adds to your credibility, and so I think that you definitely, first of all, yes to everything you said. Keynote speaker, podcast host, content creator, you know, a historian, because you're basically documenting history when you're creating this content as well. Like all the things that you said that you want to be, I co-sign. I think you'd be great at it. I don't know, no
Thank you.
question about it. I already see the comment section lighting up with questions, and people love this conversation that we're having. Honestly, this probably will be the longest live I've done thus far, which is a good thing. I think this is engaging. People love it.
Mhm.
So with
Okay,
that
because I was
being,
about to say, "Oh my goodness, I'm so sorry." That time flew
no,
by though. It flew by.
no, trust me, this is a good thing. So this is not a bad thing at all. No, time flew by because we're having a good conversation.
Mhm.
I have questions here. Let me go with the first one that popped up, which is Darren's question. What's the most frustrating thing that you currently deal with working in your current role?
I have control issues sometimes. So it's like whenever I go through, well, really, actually, no, I want to say myself because it's like sometimes I just will deviate from my plan and I have to catch up and then that adds extra stress onto me. But at the same
Mm,
time, you'll have those instances where it's like you go on, you set that meeting and you think it's over and done with, but then it comes back like, oh hey, so something came up or this person wants to get on this call. Can you reschedule it or can you do this? I'm just like, okay, I will do that. No problem.
yeah.
But I just sometimes I need to be able to have time for these things. Like I'm just like, oh my
Mm,
goodness. Like you just have to kind of like I feel like you kind of like in these roles you have to like make sure that you're always going that way. If something falls through, it doesn't negatively affect you that much.
mm,
So
mm.
yeah, that would probably be the most frustrating thing.
Yeah, if I had to add to that too, I think for me, what's frustrating is when I booked a meeting with a prospect, right? And there's protocols within every company on how you want to get that meeting done. My problem is when I am in a situation where because of another part of my team can't be there, that I have to kind of go back to the prospect and kind of try to rearrange things with them. I'm like, yeah, sorry, my team can't be there. Da, da, da. And then sometimes you might lose because that person like that's their way out, and they're like, okay, I can't do anything. I'll call you back. I'm like, because
Yeah.
that's part of your quota, right? So I'm like,
Yeah, but
those look,
it's more so I'm also looking at it from like the AE's perspective.
yeah,
It's like I'm trying to help you out and this is just not going the way I need it to go.
yeah,
And I gotta figure this out. We gonna figure it out though. We gonna figure
yeah,
it out. So it's like I just, you can't control like if a prospect is gonna like say something along the lines of, "Can we reschedule? Can we push this back?"
yeah,
But that was expected. Like that was already told to me before I took the role.
yeah.
I still love the role in general. Like it's not really
Oh yeah.
that big of a deal to have to just sit there and reschedule because it's not. But it just is the process of having to do that, and then you think
Hmm.
that it's okay, and then you have to go through like the whole rigmarole of doing it again.
Yeah, it is something. But and he actually added, Darren said, yes, it's time management for me. Like that's his biggest frustration. I'm gonna go to another question here from Tiffany. She says, "Hi, can you give insight on the exam? Can we use notes to take the exam? Are there any questions from the books on the exam?"
Now,
What?
I will say this: when I took the exam, this was last year. They changed it.
Mm,
So there is a study guide somewhere in there, and there's a Quizlet. Can we use notes to take the exam? No, it is proctored. You will be watched.
yes.
Um, are there any questions from the books? I want to say I maybe had one question from the book, but only reason why I'm just not going to be like yes is because I don't know how they changed it
Good
fully. I
question.
don't
Good
know if
point.
the questions are still the same from last year
Yeah.
because they've revamped everything, but it's like pretty much what's in the course. There's not going to be a question. I will say there's not going to be a question on there that it was not stated in the course at all.
Mm,
Like and they'll give you something to go off of pretty much to be like, okay, this is what could be on the test, this is what might be on the test.
yeah.
But I will say that when I took it, you can see the answers after, and review the answers and then go back and take it again.
Yeah,
So I took it twice.
me too. I took it twice. I
Yeah.
took it twice. Just a piggyback, and Kennedy, feel free to disagree with me because that's how life is. I
Hmm.
would instead of saying like how I would answer your question, Tiffany, is what should I prioritize in preparation for this exam? And for me, when I talk to people about this, even in my free coaching calls, I would say you want to prioritize the verbal portion, then the written portion, and then a multiple choice. And then the reason I'll break that down, the reason why I say that is because the verbal portion of the exam is what the companies that are potentially going to hire you see. So you want to ask questions like what was mentioned earlier from Kennedy, like in a situation that you had in the past where you had a obstacle, how did you overcome that? Why do you want to be SDR? What is, and you want to be able to answer these questions in about 45 seconds or so, because they want to see if you can do it the STAR method: situation, task, action, result, and you can be concise. Because when you're talking to prospects, you want to be able to provide them information, but in a concise way that they can get it. So they want to see how well you could communicate. Second, on top of that, the written portion, from what I don't, the subject matter may have changed, but when I took the test, we talked about bands, we talked about spin selling, we had to know what a sales cadence was, we had to know what sales enablement software was, we had to know what the different things, these different subject matters. So being able to speak on these subject matters and write it down can be helpful. So if you want to go back and say, okay, Zoom Info, sales enablement, or HubSpot, and what CRM, Salesforce, and things of that nature, you want to be able to write that down. And so the written portions are important. Included in that written portion when I took it was also an email, which is a cold email that you'll be sending to your prospect, right? So you want to kind of be able to do verbal, written, and then lastly, you want to do those multiple choice questions, which were from those quizzes. So you took the quizzes already, you just got to brush yourself on those quizzes again, and then be able to take that to when you do your final exam. And that's how I kind of would approach what I prioritize in regards to preparing for the exam. But that's just me. You can correct me if I'm wrong. So
No,
yeah,
I agree with that.
yeah. So that's
Like
how
hardest from not as hard is where I kind of look at it.
exactly. So I'm gonna keep on going because we got a lot of questions that just started coming through. Crazy. Okay, Tiffany said thank you. Okay, thank you. She really appreciate what you said. And then let me go up. Let me go back to another question here. Man, I appreciate y'all. Y'all are really bringing the questions in today. I have Zane here. He says, if I have a master's degree in school administration, teaching experience, as well as some sales experience, then what a position should I apply for?
Ooh, we
That's
just talked
good.
about this. That's
Yeah.
why I was telling one of my students, I would just try to maybe shoot for like sales managers type, like probably not SDR BDR roles because they're probably gonna look at you like you're overqualified, but teaching comes with project management
Hmm.
all day, every day. You could probably even try sales engineering, honestly, because I asked one of my sales engineer friends. He's like, yeah, project management was like the biggest thing for him.
Hmm.
So I mean, you could probably. I feel I won't. I'm not gonna say that you kind of like might be wasting your time doing SDR BDR, but I think just with all that experience, especially with teaching, it might be looked at as like an overqualification. So maybe like those
Hmm.
things that are a step up from SDR BDR and then going from there. But if you end up getting an SDR BDR job, great,
Hmm.
great. But I wouldn't say limit yourself. I would even try account executive. Like really all you would need is just, like that. Well, he said some get some more sales experience and then try applying for account executive. And I think that might be the easier one.
Yeah. There's so many areas within this realm, this customer success as well. That's more post sales.
Oh
There's
yeah,
so many
customer
different
success.
things. But one thing I want to encourage you, Zane, is they value teachers. Like
Oh, they love teachers.
they love teachers. You can present and you can provide information in a concise way. So they'll love you. They'll love you. And here's something too. We didn't really dive into this, but also consider looking at ed tech companies because they might
Hmm.
actually want to bring you on as a consultant and be able to kind of actually help, like what you said with regards to not only project, but product. Um, uh, what did you say again, Tiffany? You said the word. I can't remember right now. I'm drawing a blank.
Oh,
But you can
project management.
Yeah, product management. You can help design the product. You can be a consultant and say like, this is what students really need. This is what da 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 da. I had a conversation with a person about regarding that, Frank and I, and he was talking about he's a SC for a company, the same company that develops ABC Mouse and things of that nature, and they love teachers. Like most of the teachers most people that are there that work in the customer success area and different departments are ex former educators. So you want to definitely look in ed tech and see what you can find there. That's my 2 cents.
Mhm.
All
Yeah,
right.
because I had another thing was like,
Yeah.
she had a lot of finance background, and I was like, please try to apply for like a fintech job, please.
Yeah.
Because I wanted to get into fintech, but couldn't really find a company that really worked out for me. So
Yeah. No, no, that's a good point, and I like that you said that.
it
You
made
would
me like
you,
a really good account executive though. Now that I'm looking at it,
oh yeah, yeah. I mean, the only thing they might say is that you have closing experience. They might look at that a little bit, but you never know.
never know.
You never know. Oh, Scott said I just sent you a LinkedIn request. So she's on her phone right now, I believe, or she's on the computer. So she's gonna check out all those requests later on, y'all. So don't think that she's ignoring
Yes.
y'all. She's just here talking to me. Uh, so I have Raul. Uh, he was saying, was there anything that took you out of your comfort zone when you first started as an SDR? And when you look back at it now, do you laugh?
Being on the phone with people, I've just in a different like just trying to get them interested, sort of. So like when I was a leasing agent, I just had to talk about like just random like people just want to take a tour, things, minuscule things, right?
Yeah.
But now it's just like, hey, so checking in, you saw that you were interested, things of that. It's like at first I was petrified to do it, right? And I just was like, I haven't been on the phone in so long. I'm like, no. Now I'm just like, yeah, it's actually not that bad.
Yeah.
Like once you just keep doing it, you kind of like find your own flow, and you go from like sounding really scriptish to like you're just on the phone trying to get them to have a meeting.
Mm-hmm.
So it's like helping with my confidence. I know over the phone will also help my confidence being able to talk to people in person.
Yeah.
So I haven't had to really necessarily talk to anybody in person, but once again, I know I want to be a keynote speaker and everything, so I need to get more practice with that public speaking sector. So that really does help, and it's like I feel a lot more comfortable on the phones than I did when I first started.
Mm.
Because I treat everything conversation as a conversation. Like interviews, I did the same thing with making
Yeah.
my phone calls.
Smart. Honestly, for me, it was navigating Salesforce because every company is different. So I was like, oh, this is just little things that I had to just put the reps in. I just had to put the reps in, and I was like, okay,
Salesforce aggravates me sometimes. Oh my god, it's like, oh my god, I forgot to do a step. Let me
yeah,
go back. And yeah, it's just so tedious, but it keeps everything in place.
yeah, absolutely. Thank you for that question, Raul. And I'm gonna go to this question here from, and forgive me, I'm not the best with names. I'm gonna try. Kisnata, I think that's how you pronounce it. When applying for a SDR role, what were the things you look for from each company? Culture, pay, room for growth, etc.
I would try to see if pay was there first, because sometimes they don't put it.
Mm-hmm.
But usually they give like a ballpark range. If they say anything, typically like with the good companies, they're gonna just automatically talk about culture and diversity. So I'm just like, okay, good there. But then I also try to look for like like how they, if they say anything about how you would promote or what it would take for you to promote, I look for that as well. You
Yes.
can typically see if there's room for growth based on the description itself, on if they like have it laid out as to like what you can start off as and what you could become.
Mm-hmm.
Like if they're like, hey, you can start off as an SDR and become an account executive in roughly this amount of time. I like to look for things like that. As well, I will say too is if they have like a clear set of experience, like experience requirements laid out.
Yeah.
Some of them I notice are kind of just like, hey, you should apply for this for our company where we're growing, and but they don't really have anything that shows what could benefit me per se.
Yeah.
If that makes sense, like it's just kind of like you're this is just a job description. It's not really telling me like what I'm required to do. If I look through the things of like what like my job requirements, and I feel like that's something stands out to me that I feel like I can do those things, then yeah. But if it's something there that I'm like, ooh, I'm not really familiar with that word. Like as soon as I see JavaScript, I'm like, nah, that's not me. Cause what JavaScript? I don't need that. Like all those like super fancy words in there that kind of seem more befitting of someone that's maybe an engineer. They'll sometimes sneak those things in there. But
Yeah.
once I start seeing words that I'm not familiar with, I'm just like, this is probably not for me. I am probably not qualified for this.
Yeah, yeah. I think for me, if I'm going to add anything to that, is quota attainability. Like that's one thing that if you could find out how many of their SDR BDRs are actually hitting quota, or even AEs, because I can let you know, like, okay, this product is killing it on the market, or this product is tough, and I'm gonna
Mm-hmm.
have, and I'm special, but I'm not that special sometimes to make it where it's like I can move heaven and earth to move this product around. So you want to kind of make sure that that's something that you also want to look at as top of mind when talking to these companies. That's my opinion. Just added to that. Let me keep going here because we got a few questions. I'm gonna probably try to speed through these. All right, Mark said, "Hey, I recently completed the tech course. Any outstanding tips that would help me make myself known in the community?"
Does he mean the course careers community or like the tech community?
Good question. I think he might mean both.
Um, course careers community, like be active in the Discord, ask questions, and then look at all like the announcements and things like that because you never know what you might miss. And then try to like search if like you maybe there's a question in your head, someone probably already asked it. Um, and then just like just making sure you connect with people because it's like one thing I will say they thought that like making connections on LinkedIn is hard. Honestly, no one's really gonna deny you a connection. You can not know who they are at all. You just press connect and they'll connect back with you. Um, but in the tech community, I will say be active on LinkedIn about your journey. Incorporate course careers with that. Be like, hey, so I had like a really great interview with a company today. It was nice. Like just being able to just showcase that you just really are putting yourself out there and like you're not just like a dead candidate. Like you're kind of just there. Like post like things about you that you learned about maybe. Um, also commenting on other people's posts helps a lot too because you never know who's going to see that. You never know if a recruiter is going to see your comment and they might just click on your profile and they might just reach out to you. Making like you are your personal brand, so it's like some people they don't probably want to do that. That's fine. But when it comes to like sales and things like that, once you like become like known somewhat on LinkedIn, oh man, like I'm still trying to get kind of known on LinkedIn, but LinkedIn can take you so far, and I didn't know that. I used to think
Mm,
LinkedIn was not important, and I used to like apply on Indeed. I hate Indeed. Anybody that tells me they applied on Indeed, I'm like, just delete the account. Just get rid of it. Like, oh my god, it is a pet peeve of mine when I hear Indeed, but it's like they don't know because I didn't know either. But yeah,
mm,
just making your building your brand, making your profile stand out as much as possible. I like the course careers headers, but I'm like, I'm not course careers.
mm-hmm. Yeah.
I am Kennedy Nicholson, and I am an SDR.
Mm. Building your
I
own
make
brand.
my own header. Yeah, like once you start building your own brand, you find it easier to be able to like be more so known in the community because it's like, oh, that's a nice profile. I want to be able to follow them. They seem like they have nice things to talk about.
Yeah.
Or this might be a nice candidate because it's like they're not in the role, but they're showcasing good LinkedIn skills.
Mm. Mm. And Miss Rouse actually said in the comment section too, join the Course Careers Discord. They talk about it. They talk about
Mm-hmm.
all that. So you definitely want to get connected. And like everything that was said, I totally agree with. I'm actually gonna go right here to Tiffany again because she says something that I think is important. Okay, I can use my healthcare background to answer that because I have a lot of stories. I'm transitioning from healthcare, and I would say because I work in a med tech company, healthcare you definitely want to use your skills to do it. I know somebody who was in my cohort who was a nurse, used to be in the emergency room and everything like that, and he was able to use stories there to help him land a job, and he's doing very well in our company. You know, exceeding quota multiple times since he's been there, and so you definitely want to leverage that. You also want to make sure that they know that even though you do have that healthcare background, that you are really in this for sales because that's one thing that might discourage sometimes companies that they say, okay, the person just looks at this as another job, but they may not have the grit to be able to be hung up on or not, to have that tenacity to keep going when things are not working their way because sales can be a roller coaster. So you want to let them know I'm going to leverage my healthcare skills. I would definitely recommend looking into med tech. I will leverage my healthcare skills, but I have a true understanding of sales if that's the role that you're looking to be in as an SDR, BDR, or account executive. And I have that skills and the knowledge and know-how to really do the job. Do you want to add anything to that, Kennedy?
No, I mean everything that you said was basically kind of like going off like pretty much what I would have said.
Mm-hmm.
Like I'm realizing that there's different types of like companies for different types of people because it's like I'm
Yeah.
finding out that medtech is a thing. I always heard about fintech or like now govtech is a thing. It's just like
Oh yeah.
you oh yeah, I want to get into govtech. I'm not even gonna low key,
That's a good spot to be.
low key, but yeah. No, I completely agree with everything that you just said just now.
Awesome. So, listen, y'all, this has been a great conversation. And I think that we're pretty much wrapping things up. Like Darren said, he actually made a point in regards to kind of seeing what the quota attainability is. And Rep View, I don't know, we really talked about it, but Rep View, similar to Glassdoor, is a great place to look because you actually have people from the company uh, basically having a free for all in there, talking about their company because it's anonymous. So they could go in there, they could say all sorts of stuff about their company, and they could tell you how hard quota attainability is, or how easy it is, or they could tell you about the culture if they're saying, that's a lie. And also reaching out to people on LinkedIn, that as well is a good thing. So I'm gonna go one more question here. This is the last question that we have, and it's from Zane. Zane says, "Do you feel like you get plenty of leads?" I'll let you answer that question first.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I do. They just become they're from because okay, so
yeah.
I'm inbound. So it's like I'm already working with warmer leads. I haven't gotten to outbound yet, to where it's
Oof.
like I have to prospect them. Yeah, but yeah, they. I get plenty. I get plenty. I'm just like, ooh. Every time I get my task down, here goes some more. It's like
Yeah,
I've never felt like I've never had like not enough leads. Now, good leads, we have to find out if they're a good lead or not. So it's like you really can't do anything about that. But I get plenty. I will never run dry with a
yeah.
good lead. Like, mm-mm.
That's a beautiful thing. It makes that quota attainability that much easier. Uh, I would say for me, being on the outbound side, you have to become like a pirate looking for treasure and doing that research and finding out how you can get to the right person. Because this person before said, No, never, never, never will I go with you. And you're like, okay, I'll call back tomorrow and I'm going to try somebody else. Or I'll try to
Right,
figure it out. Or I'll leave you alone. I'll let you nurture you for a little bit and then come back and say, hey, now that your system is failing, let's talk again. So how's it been? Has it been great? Oh no, it hasn't. Well, you know what? We actually provide a solution that you've been looking for this whole time, but you didn't want to talk to us before, but now you can talk. All right. So it's
right.
for us. It's a lot. It's a lot of hunting. That's why I love it. It's hunting. It's like hunting season for me, where I'm
It
trying to
is indeed
find these
hunting.
things, and that makes me excited. I don't know why, but it
Yeah.
does. Uh, okay, so we're wrapping up here. Thank you, everybody. I do see some comments in here. Tiffany said, "I'll look into med tech." Thank you all. Thank you. I'll be sending Kennedy a connection request. Thank you for the gems. So yeah, Kennedy, they'll be hitting you up a little bit, just a little bit. I don't know. And then Scott said a similar thing in regards to having 18 years in medical care, but wanting to do cybersecurity. He's trying to go into cyber, I should say. There's a lot of things out there. There's a lot of things out there. There's Web3. There's so many different jobs. There's jobs in AI. People have to sell that too. So there's a lot of different industries that you could definitely look in. And so this has been a great conversation. I want to thank you again so much so for being on this live with me, Kennedy or Kenny.
Welcome.
I know a lot of people have appreciated it as well as myself. And family, y'all know her LinkedIn is in the description. Just go down, go click on her LinkedIn, connect with her, join her coaching courses. I actually saw that Scott said he's gonna follow you on LinkedIn and he's gonna sign up for a coaching course. So that is, hey, everybody could do it. And one more time, I'm going to just do this for a reminder because people just joined. Some people just joined for the Q&A portion. But if you are interested in course careers, the link is below. If you are interested in becoming, and again, with course careers, just to kind of make sure that they understand, not just SDR or BDR roles in tech sales, but you're looking at UI, UX design. You're looking at also being in IT, being an IT professional. I actually have friends that took the IT course and landed an IT job that like, hey, try this out, and they landed a job. So you want to look at that as well. And you also want to look in digital marketing. We know that that's a big, big field. So those are all courses that Course Career provides. The link is below. $50 off with my code Joseph50. Leveled, that's account executive and cybersecurity, specifically being an SOC analyst, SOC analyst. So you want to look in that as well. Joseph10, the code is for that. And Learn Full. That is that exclusive group of mastermind where you're basically dealing with the top of the top when it comes to sales engineers and tech sale personnel. They're going to take you under their wing for about a 6-week intensive course. And out of that, you should be able to have the skills and the know-how to land the job that you're in. So those that are having a lot of experience that are trying to transition, that might be a great place for you because the network that they have there, you're gonna be good. But with that being said, y'all, again, hit up Kennedy, show her some love, sign up for her coaching. You already seen the love and the knowledge that she has for y'all, so definitely do that. And like I always say, family, until next time, Kennedy and I, we hope to see you on the other side. Take care, family.